Hi, Peter Boolkah here and welcome to today's edition of the Transition Guy. Now today's episode, I want to ask you the question, are you driving your business or is your business driving you? I know that's kind of a strange question to be asking, but very often what you find is that people are not driving their business. They're actually being driven by their business. Now what do I mean by that? Think back to when we were young. Think back to when we were kids. We were quite idealistic, yeah? So if we take as kids, we had personal goals and business stroke career goals. And they were clearly defined, weren't they? When I grow up, I'm going to have a family, maybe this many kids, and I'm going to get a job or be in business, and this is what that's going to look like. And that's what people were working towards. Well, most people, not for everybody, but in general, most people were working towards those sets of goals. Now, what people didn't explain was that when you go into business, things get a little bit different. Things actually don't necessarily go according to the plan. And what happens is most people go into business for the best intention. They want to create this fantastic life for themselves. They want to better themselves. They perhaps didn't like their corporate job anymore and they thought, you know what, there is something better. And when we all start off in business, we have this huge adrenaline rush. We're extremely passionate, excited, and off we go on the journey. But what happens to most businesses, and it's not all businesses, is that at some point down the line, the business takes over. It's like the business becomes your boss. The business controls you. And you're like that hamster on the hamster wheel. You're continuously pedaling to feed that beast. And you're scared to get off the hamster wheel because all of a sudden, if you get off, that revenue, those sales, that wages that you're bringing in to support your family, that could possibly be in jeopardy and you don't want to do that. So you're compelled to continue pushing faster and faster and faster, work harder and harder and harder. I'm sure many of you can totally relate to that. So what happens is though that beautiful division between personal and business, well, that changes, and all of a sudden any sort of personal decision you're going to make in your life, guess what happens? You end up consulting the business. So can we go on holiday? Or let me see if the business can allow. And before you know it, your business is your boss and you're working loads of hours in your business. And the freedom that you really wanted escapes you because you're not really having that freedom. What you've got now is a beautifully diamond encrusted whatever prison. And you're now the boss. Well, your business is now your boss, okay? And what needs to happen is we need to flip that. But because people get so used to the business being the boss, they just accept it and they carry on. And actually what happens over a period of time is those wonderful personal goals and aspirations that perhaps you had set for yourself, they kind of slowly dwindle away and they become more than just a distant memory and something that probably in most business owners' expectations, they don't believe that they are attainable. Because they've had such a hard graft at business and business has really been demanding, the idealistic life that they once cherished, that's but a distant memory. Now what needs to happen is we need to change that. We need to go back to those days when we were young, when we were carefree, and we had that ability to dream. Because the whole point of having your own business is that it's not for you to serve your business. And I don't even know where that mentality came from, that you've got to work hard in business, you've got to work for your business, you've got to lead for the front and everyone's got to see you working the hardest. Surely if you're owning your business, the whole purpose of the business is for the business to serve you, not you serve the business. However, the only way that's going to happen is if you go back and you actually map out what your ideal personal life needs to look like. And most people never do this. And that's really sad. Because actually, how are you ever going to structure a business to give you your ideal life if you haven't defined what your ideal life looks like? And more importantly, what is it you want out of your ideal life? Got to stop being scared about dreaming. got to stop being scared about wanting. You've got to go back and say, okay, do you know what? If I could have my cake and eat it, what would it look like? So you go back, you really look at the personal life, you think about what is it you really, really want? What is it you truly desire? And then what happens is you say, okay, this is what my personal life really needs to look like. This is what I want it to look like, and I'm excited by that. All you'll do then is just start saying, okay, well, how do we structure the business to give me that life? And if you look at many of the really successful entrepreneurs out there, where everyone's saying, well, they've got it all and how have they done it? One of the main reasons that they've managed to successfully do it is because they know what their personal life looks like. And they understand that the business is a vehicle to serve them, not them to serve the business. So hopefully that's given you a clear distinction today, whether or not you are serving your business or your business is serving you. Now, if you're serving your business and you really want to change that, well, get in touch with me. Head over to Boolkah.com, schedule a free 30-minute discovery call. Let's look at where you're at and perhaps come up with 1 or 2 strategies that you can take with you straight away, implement in your business, and start making that switch. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you've got to start somewhere. Now, thank you for tuning into today's episode. If you found value in today's episode, please like, share it with others. If you have any questions, always leave them in the comments section. I will get back to you. I love having questions and I love interacting with those that are on my channel. And most importantly, always remember, failing to learn is learning to fail. Please stay safe.